Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up, Swahili Nation family? Sabella, hi. It's good to see you here today. For everybody who is watching right now, from wherever you are, it's good to see you guys. And let me know in the comment section if you don't mind where you're joining from and where you're watching from. I'm going to be here for a very short time. Not going to stay here for long. Very, very short time. Like, very short time for today. I need to leave. Sorry, guys, that I'm sorry that I came a little bit late. Let me change this. I'm sorry that I came a little bit late, but that is because I had an amazing interview today with one of my mentors, somebody who I've always been looking up to when it comes to this YouTube business. I had an incredible interview today, guys. Incredible interview. Do you know the moment when you meet somebody you admire and then you're sitting across to one another and you're having an interview? Like, I was interviewing him. That was the iconic moment of my life. And I shared the post on Instagram, on my Instagram, so you can go and check it out. But right now I'm working on the video to release that interview. That video is coming very soon. I'll be releasing. This is someone that is very influential here in the media industry here in East Africa in general. He's doing an amazing, he's the content creator. He produces, he creates, and he was just sharing the hustle and the struggle of what he's doing right now, where he started and where it's going. He's someone that I really admire, so it was amazing to hear the stories of what is going on. Good to see you, Sabella. Appreciate you for being out there and being that, energetic. I appreciate that. It takes a while for someone to comment, to write something down. So I appreciate you, Sabella. So that interview, guys, is coming very soon. I'll release first on AudioMac, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, all of those digital platforms. And then I will release the video on YouTube as well. You guys, you cannot miss this. You cannot miss this. So you can go check it out on my Instagram. You see the post of that. Anyways, guys, appreciate if you're joining me right now. Please let me know where you're watching from. I'm not going to stay here for long. I'm going to stay for very short time. Very short time. Because I want to be clear and precise. And I understand that right now in Africa, the time is too late. And I don't want to waste your time, guys. Most of y'all might be wanting to go to sleep. And for me, I had a very long day. I just came here right now and I didn't even unpack my bags and everything. Right, I was like, you know what? I got to talk to my Swahili Nation family. And I'm right here talking to y'all guys. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not going to stay here for a long time. What's up, Africa? How is it going? Do I have only Sabella right here watching with me? Or do I have other people who they don't like to say anything in the comment section? I had a crazy experience yesterday, and I want to share with you guys a story what happened to me yesterday. I had a crazy experience. I'll just make very story short, and then I'll deliver my message. This is One Africa Forum, guys. So yesterday I was going somewhere with my friend. We're driving a car, and we went on a hill, right? We were at the middle of the hill, and the car all of a sudden it just stopped, right? And we didn't know what's the problem. It was very dark. It was night. And I was scared of my life, all right, because it was in the middle of the road. There's so many cars are coming from down, and other cars are coming from the hill, and there's a little bit of corner, so they don't really see where we are at. They're coming, some of the cars just come really, they're rushing too fast. Some people, they're driving while they're drunk, and it's kind of, it's very dangerous, right? So I was scared for my life, and that we were inside the car all of a sudden it stopped. We were like climbing a little hill right like this, and then it stopped right before we finished the hill. So I was scared that this car might go all the way down if the brake doesn't work, or another car might come and hit our cars because we were at the middle of the road and we couldn't move the car. Got out, we checked the car, and we realized that the car doesn't have petrol, right? So my friend, he called a motorbike. He rushed all the way to the shop to take the petrol, and then he came back. We put the petrol right in the car and diesel, but it didn't work. Trying to turn on, it didn't work, and I was scared of my life because I was standing there at the middle of nowhere. There's a huge valley across the road, and it's dark, right? So I'm like, oh my goodness, all right. So I just had to, every time when people were crossing by, I tried to keep myself busy and to show like I'm working on something, right? But in reality, I was not doing anything. So they came back, car didn't work. We realized that, oh, we don't have oil, right? So we need to buy not oil, fuel. We realized we don't have fuel, so we need to buy fuel. But then my friend and I, we decided to send this guy on the motorbike to go to buy fuel, right? So he rushed all the way to go to find where's the petrol station to buy fuel. He went there, and we were waiting. The petrol station was not so far from there. And I was kind of like skeptical when I was saying, oh, like, hey man, how sure are we that you're not gonna run with the money? And he said, no, man, for me here, everybody knows me in this region, right? I've been working. I mean, one day, one guy here, he stopped like this and he needed to buy fuel, like 45,000 Tanzanian shillings. And he gave it to me. I went to boats and I brought it back. That's what he told me. So for me, I was skeptical, but then I was like, you know what? I always talk about give each other a chance. I cannot just say negative things about Africa. I cannot just assume things about people without having evidence, without knowing what is truly going on, right? So I had to trust that guy. All right. I was like, you know what? I'm going to trust him and I'm going to give him a chance. I was like, okay, we were waiting for you here. Go and buy fuel. That guy, he went, and then we were waiting there 1 minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Oh, we're like, all right, this guy's supposed to come here like within 5 minutes. Now it's 15 minutes. We're like, okay, let's give him 15 minutes. Maybe he went there and he didn't find, he went to another station. You're waiting 30 minutes, man, 1 hour. The guy is not back. I'm looking at my friend, we're looking at each other like, oh man, this guy ran away with the money. Mind you guys, we're at the middle of the road, at the middle of the hill. The car can drop down anytime, and there's a lot of cars are coming, and this guy is running away with the money. And we are there at the middle of nowhere. This happens yesterday, guys. Yesterday, like last night. So we're like, okay, this guy. So the option, it was, okay, my friend to run again to go to the station to buy fuel by himself. So he took a motorbike, and then he went all the way to the station. And I was alone again there, and I was scared, my life. I was like, wow, this guy just ran with the money. What if he goes and then he comes back, he takes something? My friend, he went, he took it. Within 5 minutes, my friend came, we put fuel. Luckily, the car worked. We were there for like 2 hours, guys. 2 hours. In the middle of the night, it was around like 11 or 12 a.m. And we're staying there for 2 hours, it's not working. One thing I said, I prayed to God, and I was like, first of all, I want this guy to be fired on his job, first of all, because he's not faithful, to be fired. I don't want to see somebody like that. I was a little bit pissed off, right? But there are things. Why am I sharing this story with you? Personally, it's not a good experience, right? Especially when what was going on in my mind, I was thinking that this guy, he didn't even think about us, thinking that these guys that have been here for a long time, they're at the middle of nowhere and they are scared, and the car is broken down, there is blocking the road, and this guy he took that money. It was just 20,000 won, 20,000 Tanzanian shillings. He took that money and he ran away with it and never came back. Such an awful attitude. It's not even money to run away with, right? But somebody is willing to do that and is feeling good about himself that he got 20,000 and he's working and on his duty, but he want to take money like that. Free ride, right? So I asked myself, like, how many cases like this we have? How many cases like this we are happening every single day in our town, in our places? How many cases like this we have? I don't know about your country. You guys can tell me in the comment section if, like, stealing is very common But I was really embarrassed and I was really ashamed. I was like, man, this is my country, and then somebody's doing like this. I mean, it's something to experience for the first time, and I was sad. Sad not because of the money that he took, but sad because of what he did. And I was like, this is what change the image of what we have. All right, this is just a small example, but there's so many big examples, right? There's so many things that are happening like that. And when you think about that, the only thing I was thinking about is that, man, why do you have to do this? If you have a problem and if you need something like this, you can simply ask and say, why do you have to do this? There's no reason for you to do that. But that's what destroy the image of what we have. Yes, it might be just a little portion. There's a big things that really destroy, and we talk about that all the time. But I thought that today I should come here and share with you guys my experience yesterday. I see Ezra is right here. Ezra, it's good to see you, brother. Oh man, I'm gonna have a chat with you, because it's always amazing to see you right here. But so I was like, these are small things, right? But small things that they put us in a really bad position, right? I have my friend visited right now Tanzania. She's from Australia. And then today we had to take we call it Bajaj here. It's like Bajaj is like a small little motorbike with three different wheels, right? And my friend, she was scared so much because she said that, you know what, I was scared because I was holding my camera. I was scared if somebody would come and take it away. And I couldn't even defend myself. I couldn't even say that, oh, you know what, we don't have his. I couldn't even say that because it reminded me of what I went through yesterday. And I didn't want to be hypocrite to her. And I said, yes, but at that time, people, they cannot really do that unless if you hold your phone like this, walking like you're inside the motorbike and holding like this, they might take it away. It's something that we got used to in our society, in our places. We got used to it. Oh, you guys, you call also Bajaj in Ethiopia. It's something that we get used to, but it's something that we're not supposed to get used to. When you're talking about One Africa, guys, we want to try as much as we can to take away this negativity. And at least maybe we may not be able to take away, but to bring awareness and to reduce to some extent. Because if someone like that who is coming away think like that inside here, nobody has ever robbed her. So just to make it clear, it hasn't happened yet. But she's scared of that, something that hasn't even happened, but it already happened to me, right? And that is not, it was not a real robbery. But I saw some videos in Kenya of Kenya, someone like I think is Asian, showing the videos of how people they take away the phones in Nairobi, Kenya, right? These are things that are not good. If you want to have, if what we are fighting for is for One Africa, I think there are things that we need to address, things that they can be a little bit uncomfortable to address, but there are certain things that we need to work on. We have to. And I hate when someone is taking easy road to get their own needs, you know what I'm saying? And this is just one perspective that I have, but there's so many different perspectives that you guys might have as well. I just shared the link in the comment section. I see my brother Ezra here. You guys can come online and share, your experience or something like that. But I am exactly, because a good deed shines like a candle in a nighty world. Keep doing your good deeds. God bless. Appreciate, man. And I think we have to keep doing good deeds. It's a moral. It's a moral, man. It's a good manner. These are things that we need to be doing. It's like, I don't know if am I thinking like too differently? Like, do I do understand that you think like the way I think, right? For me, I don't know. No matter how many times I think about it, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. Let me read another comment here. I see, welcome, brother. Utopia say, welcome, brother. I always watch your video uploaded, and it's so much important. Be strong and go on, my brother. My dream is mine. Appreciate Utopia. I appreciate. We call it Bajaj in Ethiopia as well. Wow, you guys, you call Bajaj too. That's amazing. Give me a little bit of background since I joined. Ezra, basically, I was just sharing my experience that I went through yesterday. Somebody ran away with the money. Um, he was the motorbike driver, right? And we gave money. We gave money for him to gave money for him to actually come to go to buy fuel for us because our car just stopped at the middle of the hill. So we were at the risk to actually lose our lives because that car, it could just, go down, or any cars that is coming from front or back, because like the car was on top of the hill, and then you have a corner, and the car just stuck there at the middle of nowhere, at the middle of the road. So there are cars are coming this side, are coming this side, and it's midnight, 12 a.m. So somebody came with the motorbike. We gave him money to get us the fuel because he said, hey, no, I can get it for you guys. But he ran with the money. And I gave him a benefit of a doubt because I didn't want to think negative about my own people. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to think negative about Africans because we have this negative image about other they're thief, they will rob you, they do this and that. And I didn't want to be that kind of guy to think about that. So I was a little bit sensitive about it. And I told him that, wait, guys, I don't know what's going on. I think. Yeah, anyways, so I didn't want to be negative about it. So I gave him a benefit of a doubt. And I was like, you know what? I am not going to think negative about this guy. What I will do is I will just give him the money to go to grab, to take fuel and to bring back home, right? To bring back to us. But that guy, he disappeared with the money and he didn't come back. We were waiting there for 30 minutes. He never come back. So that's what basically I'm addressing, that this negative image that sometimes we complain, sometimes we talk about, they are actually causing by ourselves, by the behaviors that are happening inside our countries. And we reach the point where we are comfortable. Like we know that we got used to that way of life, that system that, you know what, you need to be careful. You're gonna get robbed if you go outside. And it's happening in a lot of places, but I know that it's possible to live in a society where people, they're not robbing, because I have a special case example of, I shared here where I'm coming from, right? Where I'm coming from, guys, you can leave your phone, you can leave your tablet, you can leave whatever. Nobody will ever take your thing. Nobody will ever take your stuff, even if they don't have the same stuff. I might have my iPhone here, maybe iPhone 13 I have, and then I have it. Nobody will take it away. And even if they found it, they will just return it to the lost and found, and you'll be able to find it anytime, anywhere, anytime. But not the same thing right here where we have. Not the same thing right here where we have. And we wanna, my pain and my disappointment is the image of Africa outside, right? If it's how people, they view Africa, and some of them are true. You know what I'm saying? And I shared about my friend who is here right now visiting Tanzania, but she's scared that, you know what, I feel like I'm gonna get robbed if I ride a motorbike, if I ride a bajaji, right? And that's where I was sharing, right? And I cannot say that she's wrong. Then I cannot lie to her. The only thing I'll tell her is that, oh, you gotta be careful. Yeah, things like that happens here, right? But I believe that we can live in a society where people will be satisfied with what they have, whether you have big or small. You don't have to make a living for stealing from someone or getting something from someone. That's what destroy our image. That's what put us in a very uncomfortable position. When you go outside there to leave, people, they look at you, they feel like they start like, man, where I was living, when when you went and you sit next to the seat of somebody will be taking stuff and then keeping it away like that. You're in the subway, standing in the subway, there's a lot of people there, people that will be taking their pouch and putting them on another side because they feel like, oh, black man is here, he's gonna steal things. That's the dirty image. Like, I'm looking at them like, I don't even want your pouch. I have my own. Why should I take yours? People struggle outside there, the diaspora. Ezra, you might feel the same thing too because you're there in the US. So these are kind of things that we need to break them. These are kind of barriers that we need to break them. And how do we do that? It's really hard. Like, I don't know. This is an urgent call. That's why I had to come here today and share with you guys. Yes, that's why I had to come here to share with you guys because it happened yesterday. Happened here, right? I never had that experience where I came from. I think that's why we talk about love, peace, and unity because that's such, it's, I don't know, guys. For me, I'll never understand how things are happening. I'll never understand. Let me read your comments a little bit. I see here comments. Um, to have a strong continent that is economically prosperous, sovereign, and culture protected. So I try to do what is expected from me as a young person to win together. We must work together. That's really good. Okay, it's not what I'm saying, but I think that comment is really amazing from Utopia. That is, so I try to do what is expected from me as a young person. I basically saying I'm trying to do my part. So that's beautiful, man. Keep doing your part. That's amazing, man. Let me read your comments a little bit, guys. I'm trying to do my part. Do your part, man. I'm trying to do my part too. That's what I'm doing right here. Our brother, please come and visit Ethiopia, man. You have no idea how much I want to come to Ethiopia. Ethiopia is my home. I want to come there as soon as possible. You cannot imagine. Like, I want to come right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what right now, I want to come there. Thank you for taking the time to help. It's really meant a lot. I appreciate BK. I think if you assured the guy you would pay him for his service, he wouldn't come back. If you assured the guy you would pay him for, no, no, this guy he definitely ran away. You know what I'm saying? Wow, I have someone new here today. Um, Hirui Leach, what's up? Hello, hello. Oh, he's having trouble with the internet. You can see it's getting really, really slow to connect. Somebody say Ismail social comeback pro. Okay, it's sad, but you can't expect people to just be good people. I am this type of and of. It doesn't only happen in Africa; it's everywhere. Brother, you have a point, Milka, that I cannot expect everyone to be good, and I don't really expect that. Um, I don't expect that everybody will be, clean. I don't expect that because we are living in the world where people they make mistake and everything. And you say this type of, it doesn't only happen in Africa, it's everywhere. I will assure you this, that it might be everywhere. I haven't visited other parts of the world, but in Korea it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. I've been there for 9 years. Nothing like that happened. They don't do that. I'm pretty sure even in Japan, they don't do that because I've been to Japan twice, right, during my time there for some time. So, but we can have a society without that. Like, am I dreaming too big? Maybe I'm dreaming a little bit too big. A thief is a thief no matter what you do. It is more reprehensible. That's Ezra right there. Guys, please don't be thief, all right? If you don't have something, you don't have to steal from someone. Just make your own stuff. Spend your own money or whatever. Just be satisfied with what you have. You know, honestly, I'm only sharing this story because yesterday when that guy ran away, I was scared of my life right there, right? It was at the middle of nowhere. It was 12 a.m. and it was like you could see the valley there, and there were like somehow the little forest, next to other, side as well. And it's middle of the night, and I'm outside. Yeah, it was kind of scary. Um, the media blame the media, not only the Western media, but the African media as well. Okay, I don't know where that point is coming from. Um, we need to establish a higher moral standard for Africa. Okay, this I need to talk a little bit about this. Because I really agree with what Ezra is saying. I feel this is what I'm talking about. Higher moral standard. I think one of the things that we are lacking is that higher moral standard. It's common for people to steal things. It's common for people to to rob people. It's common here. Yes, I know the other part. I'm not concerned about the other part. I'm talking about Africa because I'm here from Africa. Other parts they might be common as well, and it's the same. And I know that because you know. But I'm talking about it because Africa is my continent, and I don't want it to be normal here. I don't know if I'm dreaming big, but I don't want it to be normal here. I don't want it to be normal because man, if you live outside and then you meet people who are looking down on you for 9 years, I had to go through that. 9 years, guys. One day I'm gonna come here. I'm just waiting for the time. I want to come to film a video of me sharing my story, even why I came back to Africa. All right, because I say Africa is beautiful. I love Africa. I will always come, but I'll share this story why I came back to Africa. I'll share with you guys, so, and I'll share with you what was going on. I'll open that day. I need to open it to happen. So I don't know if I should do live stream for that because I feel like it's gonna be very long. I'll come to show that. We have Ezra in the live stream. Brother Ezra, welcome back.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mika.
Yeah, brother.
This is really sad, but
Mm,
what I would say to you is like we should not give credence
mm,
to such really reprehensible behavior
mm,
by by falling and succumbing to fear,
yes.
worry. One of the ways
Uh,
to win such immorality is
uh,
by standing up for your moral
uh-huh.
values, by believing
Uh,
that you stand for something much higher than those people that
mm-hmm.
that are that are trading with. I mean, like to me, is that like
Yes.
we have to say why do people choose to be that,
Mm-hmm.
and the answer to that comes around to one set of theme that these are
Mm,
people without ideas, these are people
mm-hmm.
without value, these are people
Mm,
without any grounding. So
mm,
so by really pointing to the flaws in there, the
mm,
brokenness of such behaviors,
mm,
we are setting a higher standard. We are
mm,
saying to them that is too low for me. I'm not gonna
mm-hmm.
come and play mud with you. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna go and pursue you by
Mm,
coming down to your level.
mm,
You're not at my level. Yeah,
mm,
you can take my phone, you can take my
mm,
money, but you
mm,
cannot take my values. You
mm,
cannot take my vision. You cannot
mm,
take my actions. You cannot
mm,
dictate who I am.
mm,
So so that's the kind of first and foremost we need to set the plane where we stand,
mm,
where those
mm,
who steal and take away
mm,
what is not theirs, where they
mm,
stand. They stand
mm,
in the mud, they stand in the trash,
mm,
but you don't. So we need
mm,
to first and foremost establish where you are and where that kind
mm,
of behavior and that kind of choice. Look,
mm.
today, after all that ordeal, you are
Yeah.
here talking to me and
Mm,
talking to the rest of the world and letting
mm,
everybody else understand and appreciate what is a
yes.
better path, what is the
Mm,
wrong path.
mm,
So you are creating a lesson from a
mm,
very horrible experience for every one of
mm,
us.
mm, mm,
You are alerting us. So having had that bad experience, you
mm,
didn't go and hide.
mm.
You
Yeah.
came with more confidence, with more belief that what you are onto, you,
Mm,
is a higher, is a more
mm,
righteous position, and that
mm,
confidence, that belief
mm.
in the righteous position, will be
Yeah.
the saving grace for all of us.
Mm, mm,
So I want to encourage you to feel
mm,
and to believe that all of these things didn't take away from who you are,
mm.
from
Oh,
the
of
things you
course.
value, from
Mm,
your
mm.
moral stand. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's helpful in any way, but this is how I would have
Exactly.
taken it. Yes, at that moment,
Yeah.
considering the circumstances, you feel it,
Uh, uh,
but that moment is
yeah.
gone, and
Exactly.
you are in this moment right now. At this moment, looking
Mm,
back, you are
mm,
better off,
mm,
despite the fact that you are worse off materially. You are
mm.
better off mentally, spiritually. You are better off
Yeah.
because you see you're not part of that group. You should be happy
Yeah.
that you're not part of the people who steal, who make other people's life miserable.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think that's one way of, so we elevate the discourse. That's
yeah. What
essentially
would you
the
say?
answer that you give to that. Elevating the discourse around
Yeah.
values,
Uh,
morality,
uh,
and then how we relate with each other, how we connect with each other.
uh. Yeah.
And the other part is
Mm,
the uh, the poverty, the
mm,
economic and the
mm,
material poverty, the intellectual poverty, the
mm,
moral poverty
mm,
is also shown from behaviors like that.
mm,
So
mm,
what do we do about our education? What do we do
mm,
about our value in our community? How do we elevate our moral value that exists
mm,
within our community
mm,
to the way we run our government, to the way we build
mm,
our laws and implement our laws? That's another part of the discourse here, I think.
mm. What would you say are the moral standards that we should have apart from the one that I was sharing the experience? What are other things do you think?
I think
Yeah.
instead of telling you we should have this moral standard or that moral standard, what I would
Mm,
tell you is that like whatever whatever is important to the community should be the
mm,
basis on which we build morality within a community.
mm,
So I'm sure like most people will find
mm,
this reprehensible. Most people will
mm,
find it reprehensible. Now
mm,
that so we should listen to that sensibility in our communities and elevate it.
mm,
Whatever it is that within the community that you find yourself in, whatever is
mm,
moral standard, we should live it. Should live. So if we have this sense that corruption and
mm. Yeah.
theft and
Mm,
stealing is
mm,
degrading our communities, we should lean to like what is the thing that everybody or what is the thing that most people in my community
mm,
want as a standard, and then
mm.
we elevate that instead of like dictating it from the top down.
Yeah,
It's more
yeah,
like
yeah.
bringing it from the bottom up.
Start from the bottom up. Yeah,
Bottom up. So
because
like
mm,
you and
mm,
me, we are at the bottom.
mm, mm,
we're not we don't have accountability or responsibility of running government, of building
mm,
creating legislations and implementing
mm,
laws, and
mm,
we're not responsible for those things.
mm,
So
mm,
but what we are responsible for is what are the voices at our
mm,
level that are important, that
mm,
people at the higher level with the ability to act on these
mm.
things should listen to here.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
we need to give voice to those things that are like not given voice to. So
Mm, mm,
most African communities
mm,
find this, most communities anywhere in the world will find what
mm,
you experience absolutely unacceptable.
mm,
But those voices are not necessarily heard in the mainstream, in the
mm,
media, in the broader platforms that we have,
mm,
that that community platform that we have, from
mm,
local communities to national level to continental level community. Those, so we need
mm,
to, by raising our voice on those things, we are saying,
mm.
okay, you have to do something about this. You
Yeah.
cannot have we cannot grant mobility, such level of
Mm,
mobility to such
mm,
people. I mean, that
mm.
thief has so much mobility. He can run
Yeah,
around stealing from a
yeah.
lot of people because he has physical mobility. He can run around with
Mm,
his motorcycles and find
mm,
these, unsuspecting, and people who are not aware, who don't know him or don't know the person, uh,
mm,
can be taken advantage of. But
mm-hmm,
so by saying, you know what, like our laws, our legislations, our executive functions of government, they
mm,
need to take this kind of seriously and then root out those behaviors and
mm,
confront them and say like, well, hey, this thing will cost you. You take
mm,
somebody's money, but
mm,
we take your ability to move around.
mm.
I'm not talking about just prison system, but
Yeah.
overall, generally, like I mean, I'm not talking about just law enforcement, but also,
Mm,
uh, like we like for example, I used to, when I was teaching in Ethiopia, I used to teach
mm.
economics to my students, and I studied
Yeah.
Ethiopian economy over
Mm,
over a course of period of times. What I realized over the past
yeah.
uh, 30, 50 years, Ethiopian economy was run by the people I call the economy of tricksters. People who figured out if there's a like a bidding for, let's say, to furnish a university somewhere in Ethiopia with computers, somebody would know, okay, if I give somebody something and I can circumvent the legal process. And so that's the economy of tricksters. So it's not an economy of creators, innovators, problem solvers. It's the economy of people who take advantage, who take opportunities, who are people who are like, what is my advantage? What is my angle here?
Okay.
So I know it's an extended answer to the questions that you ask. I wouldn't legislate it on this platform. I would say we should raise our voice to a level such that those with the power to legislate it recognize this is an important and a serious issue that damages our communities, the image of our community. We should do something about it. And that's the thing that could be one way of doing it.
Okay. I appreciate that, Ezra. Man, we have another person right here, and it's a new one. Ned Sanet. Welcome to One Africa Forum. It's good to have you here.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi. Salam, Bitna.
Salam.
Salam. Wow. Where are you calling from? And you can just go ahead if you want to introduce yourself a little bit. That's amazing too.
Okay, I'm calling from United States. I'm calling from Maryland, and I've been watching your show for a couple of months now, and I'm really happy to see a young person who have a passion for Africa, who have a passion for his people, and really, God bless you. I really respect that. And I want to say sorry for what happened yesterday. It's frustrating, and sometimes it led us as an African to put our head down in front of the people that we stand on and say, no, Africa is not like this. The way you portrayed Africa is wrong, and you try to defend Africa, and you end up finding yourself in the situation that you are defending of. And that I know how hard it is, and sorry for what happens. But I think one of the things we should do as an Africans, we should do as a young people in Africa is to come together and to look back where Africa was. Where was Africa before certain times? I'm originally from Ethiopia, so I can look back and say, how we used to respect our elderlies, okay? How touching somebody's value, touching somebody's stuff, how it was so wrong in a community. As a community, we know we shouldn't touch our neighbor's stuff without permissions, or we know we feel like we're going to be cursed if we touch somebody's belongings because it belongs to them without their permission. It's not the right thing to do. And those things came from our traditional schools. As a country, we used to have our traditional schools that they teach you. They teach you how to respect the elderly. They teach you what you should do, how you earn things. And on those schools, human beings were more valuable than things. As a community, it is a human being who is greater than things. Okay?
That's true.
So through time, modernization came and human beings get degraded, okay? Then materials become greater. Materials become a show thing to show you are great. Materials become looks better than human beings, but which is complete lie, which is completely wrong teaching. And I may be in a couple of African countries, and I did not stay too long to study the culture, but I noticed we kind of have, every part of us kind of have the same root that brings human beings first. That's why we have the life system of community. When you go to Westerns, it's individualism, and that's what we've been pushing for each person. But that doesn't work. Human beings has to come first. The teaching has to be human being is greater, and everything you do is for the good of human beings. And I think we should go back. It takes a process, and it takes a long time. Now you go to my country and see the young people or see things, and you might have a heart broken. The same thing that happens to you. You might see a very wrong things that you never expected will happen. But it comes through the process, through the education system, through the so-called support system, or anything that was dumped on us. And I think we should say, okay, enough is enough. Now we should control our school system. We should control our young generation now, the kids, to teach them that human beings are greater than the thing, through the education system, through the politics, through wherever way we can go. Even when we do business, for us as a culture, like a word, if you give somebody your word, that was like a binding agreement, because your word is greater than anything. It used to be. It used to be that is how we learn. That's how we grow up. But now it doesn't work that way. You have to put it in the paper. You have to put it like not only putting the paper, like the things that you write on the paper has to be so explicit that nobody will cheat you later. You see, how it happened is because they say, oh, we need to be modern, we need to go to school, and the modernization school goes in teaching us a very wrong things, and it took away the very basics that we had as a society. And as an Africans, and now as a Pan-Africans, we want to work together and we want to look from ourselves. That means we have to go back where we were and start from there. I don't think depending on the so-called modernization and trying to fix things doesn't bring it. We have to say, where do we lose our dignity? Where do we lose our community? Where do we lose our values and respects? Because we had values, we had those higher standards, and you go in the community and you don't know those people. The people will let you into their house. Actually, in some part of Ethiopia, still it is the same, kind of the same. It's not exactly, but they can just welcome you and they put you in their house. They might give you the best bed they have, and they might sleep on the floor. So even though you are strangers, they will treat you the best way they know how to. And we should go back there. It is our responsibility. We are here, and what the other thing we need to do is like not giving the falling, that's how I can call it, like the falling of the community as or not the community, actually the individual too much space. Like yesterday it happened to you find, and instead of giving it too much space, you are talking about it and you are trying to find where can we solve it. So focusing on the solution, focusing on the answer will really brings us to the point that we can come together and help our community. I hope you by now like nobody's gonna help us out, and they have no interest. Like we know that now it's a fake picture of helping Africa. It's a fake picture. It's a drama, and we know it. And once we know it, we just have to say, okay, fine, you play your own drama, then we're gonna start our own, and we work together as to bring ourselves to the highest level where we are, because that's what it is. Like for me, it's funny. Nobody's gonna solve our problem, and they have no interest on solving it, and we know it.
Yeah.
So it is us. We need to come together and do it and work together. And thank you for letting me in.
Anytime. You gotta come here often. Before you leave, there's another question here somebody raised. I think it's very important question. Somebody here, Martian, say, I also have a question. Should Africa go back to its previous, more traditional standards in the brackets of morality in the quest of having higher standards of morality? What are you gonna say about that, guys?
Okay.
Before she answers it, can
Okay,
I
go ahead.
just
Yes, go ahead.
acknowledge that
Yeah.
after
Oh.
what just Nathaniel described and explained,
Mm.
like I feel like there's no more point to add. Like it's so
That's
good,
true.
it's so
That's why I ran
articulate,
away.
it's so profoundly powerful. Like adding to it, I mean, let's see, you've done this is so incredible the way
You're gonna mess things up.
you broke it down for us. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. This is what I want to say for the. I want to add a little bit for the question,
Okay.
because in the modern society, with the so-called modern society, this is what happened. Every culture that we have as an African, it is being portrayed like negative, backward, or witchcraft, or something, something that doesn't make sense. And we believed it. We say, oh, we were wrong all the time. But at the end of, for the real truth, no, we were not wrong. Actually, we had a higher standard first. We've been living and protecting even our environment very highly. Before all the modernization came, the so-called, I cannot call it modernization because for me it's not. The so-called modernization came. The ecosystem of Africa was correct. Like, we don't mess up the system because we want the ecosystem to continue for generations. There was no society that is so selfish and greedy to bring everything for themselves. They were protected. Even for them to cut the tree, they have to count which tree, how long it lived. Even to live with the animals, to live with whether it is domestic ones or the wild animals. They were working and keeping the ecosystem very nicely, correctly. The system was working. And that's the thing that we should know as an Africans. Actually, we were doing the right thing in the beginning before all the mess up came, right? So when the question comes and say, are you saying that all the traditions should come and we should go ahead and sit and say, okay, what are you trying to say from here? I'm not gonna say every tradition, every custom was perfect. I'm not going to say that. I cannot stand there and say that because we know there are certain things it should have been corrected. But through time, even every system is being corrected and it's growing. We are human beings. We make mistakes and we correct them through generations. That's what we do. But we shouldn't just dump everything we have and say, oh, that was wrong. Everything you do is wrong, and you guys have to pick up at something else. No. That's not who we are, and that's not how we should do. We should go back and say, okay, this is what we had, this is what we have. And the points that are wrong as a community, the points that are not helpful, we just drop them and we learn from the mistakes and start going forward. That's what we should do. Thank you.
Wow.
What I would add to it is that I don't think it's what we should not do is go back in history and play with history. It's a hard thing to do. It's so difficult to go back because a lot of things that are foggy, a lot of things that are covered, a lot of things that are like so hard to pull from the past and bring forward. That's one thing that we should not do. We should not be dwelling just on the past and the past and the past. But that's not to say. But the interesting is the vast majority of Africa still today, despite modernization, fundamental relationships are still governed by our tradition. Vast majority of the Africa. So you go to communities across communities all over Africa. I am certain that if you go to a community and ask what are some of your values, what are some of the things, What is different is that it's not mainstream. Those are not mainstream values. So they are, when I say mainstream, that's not, those are not the things that occupy our our public squares where everybody's watching. When I say public squares, I'm talking about our parliaments or our government, our churches and mosques. Those are not the things that occupy full time. Like, oh, this is like, we resent the taking of somebody else's property. That notion that is percolating, that percolates at the grassroots level, doesn't seem to have a platform at a higher plane. And so you don't even have to go that far to to recall, oh, we used to be like this. We are essentially like this, but we just don't give it platform. We don't give it voice. We don't verbalize it. We don't articulate it. We don't stand on a podium and fight for it. On a platform where you have audience, we have millions of audience listening to you. Those are not the conversation that are kind of like that are the headline. The headline is always our flaws, our brokenness, and our weakness, which exists at the margin of our society, not at the heart of our society. Let me give you an example. When tribalist people light a fire, okay, somewhere, like, just to give an example, somewhere in Western Ethiopia, they light the fire of hatred, ethnicity, and narrow-mindedness, and then they're hoping. I can guarantee you, when they light that fire somewhere in Western Ethiopia, they're hoping that fire starts there, but not end there. They want it to end at the other end of the country, on the eastern side of Ethiopia. That's the hope. When they light a fire, that's their hope. And what stops that fire? The fire starts, obviously, because there's enough people, which is like, if you have 100 million people, I can guarantee you I can find 1 to 10 million people that are filled with hate, anger, frustration, like flawed moral standard, all of that. So there's enough place to start the fire. But what they don't have is the other 90 or 100 million people that find it reprehensible. That they find it in their moral core. Their faith doesn't allow them. Their tradition doesn't allow them. So the fire starts, but whittle away. It doesn't go all the way. The one that started in Wolaga doesn't end in Ogaden, the other side of Ethiopia. The one that starts in Zanzibar doesn't end up in Dakar, Senegal. So what tells you? What do you extrapolate from that? What it tells you that, so what stops the fire from spreading across the plains? When I say the fire of hate and the fire of destitution and the fire of immorality, what stops it on its track is the people, the human beings that don't have voice, but they choose not to be part of that. They find it, they find indignation in that kind of hate, not empowerment. So platform like this, like your One African platform, is about giving that voice. When you hear Nes Anet speak like that, when you hear me, when you hear Kuru, or when you hear all sort of Africans across the world, Africa, speak their voice, what you hear is that morality is embedded in us. It's in our humanity. So the solution is, like, I think they're saying, like, a gold is a gold whether it's dusty or not. You just need to clean it up. So what we need to do now across Africa, you just need to show the gem inside, the gem of Africa that is built on compassion, that is built on care, that is built on accountability and responsibility, from the environment, from the sentient beings to things that are like to material things, to spiritual things. across the spectrum of what is important to us in Africa, just giving it, like, let it shine. Let's just clean the dust off it and let it be seen. And before you know it, we are in shape to respond to such kind of behaviors. I don't know if that is helpful, but I'm trying to add to what is an incredible point that Nisanda just raised. Kuru is here.
One thing that I would love to add to that before Professor Kuru, also our lovely sister here to share. One thing that I will agree with you, Ezra, is that it's true that we still have these our traditional ways in our society, and the best place to see that is when you visit or when you go to countrysides, because countryside until today they still live traditional way, and that's why we have an issue right now in Africa. A lot of people, they're running away from countryside and going to the cities. And when you go to the city, you find totally, completely different new lifestyle, new way of life. Like if you're talking about modernization, then you can see that a lot in our cities these days. But if you go to the countryside, you will see actually people living with those morals, and you see living with those traditions way of living. But strangely, every time when you see development in the city or in the place, for some reason, things begins to change and start going in the other direction that is not really our ways. Next, before Professor Kuru, is there anything you want to add from the point that Ezra, pointed out?
He actually pointed out a very, very good one. But I want to emphasize this: putting the value of human beings higher as a young people and in education. That's what we need to work on, because that's what we received. Yes, in the so-called modernization and development thingy, materials are higher. I think we should work hard on that. We should work hard on that and show that humanity is greater than things. Then we are able to go back. And for most of the challenge that as Africans that we are fighting, as for Africans we are paying the price, is there is a norm that is seated in front of our eyes that's saying, oh, you don't have these things, so you are lower, and you know it when you are out of Africa and you see walking with other people, and you see how they look at you and they say, wish I was back home, and I wish I can see them how my people treat other people. And it's something that we need to work on, lifting up the human being above everything, because that's we are greater than anything as a human being. Thank you.
Definitely. Well, I really appreciate for your insight. As Ezra said, I mean, it's such a refreshing to have a new voice right here, and I hope you come here all the time. You had such a strong point, and
I hope so.
You don't, please, your voice matters, and what you shared, I was just really shocked here and be like, wow, this is beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
You can still be here. I love so much what you pointed out. That's why I had to put it there, that human beings are more important than things in this world right now. Just take an example of how you take an example of dogs or puppy or cat. Like people, they take good care of dogs, animals, more than human beings. I met a lot of people that they will say that, you know what, I would rather have a dog than having a little baby. You know what I'm saying? It's something like it's crazy hearing that. No offense for those dog lovers, but it's just not like,
yes.
So it's true that where we are heading, or the world where it's going, it's like we are losing more value on human being, and we're putting more value on materialistic. That's why somebody will be willing to come to steal something from you, but don't really care about the person, that you have your own struggle, you have things that are going on. And these things, they're happening in a small level like that. But these people, they will later become leaders of the countries, and they will do a lot of corruption. That's why we have people who they're always stealing. Because stealing is a behavior that is being built from the early stage of life. People who are stealing today in the government, they didn't just start there all of a sudden they had those behaviors back in the days when they were young and when they were growing up. And the more we leave it, the more we let it happen. That's gonna happen in our governments, and we, whatever the position you are in, like you can steal as much as you want when you're in that position. So it's something that we definitely have to put this in our mind, that we are more
Exactly.
important. Your brother, your sister is more important. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you.
Well, we have Professor Kuru right here. Professor Kuru.
What up, guys? What up?
Welcome back, man.
I was just listening to you guys. And what up, Isra? Can you?
Hey,
And I want
what
to
up,
appreciate.
Kuru?
I want to shout out
Professor
African
Kuru.
man for
So good to see
super
you here.
chat. Appreciate that.
Yeah. How are you guys?
Good,
Yeah. First, I just want to point out that it's good to have like my sister, like Miss Annas, right? It's just to have girls, my woman, like joining this panel, because it's going to be a gentleman club, huh? So we should.
It's been gentleman club for a long time.
So we should allow. I mean, we should motivate other people to join this kind of discussion.
Do you know what? Do you know what a gentleman club is in America?
Please enlighten us.
Strip clubs.
Woo!
Come on.
I bet you didn't expect that.
Anyways, yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah.
No. Sorry. I just want to point out two things, right? So I think the discussion is about Africa. Africa should have a higher moral standards, right? So I think, I mean, we should make a distinction between like what is moral standard, what is tradition, and what is modernization. I think there are the three different things that are here. When we talk about moral standards, we're talking about like what type of actions we believe are morally acceptable, right, or more unacceptable. And when we talk about traditions, we were talking about customs and beliefs that come from generations and that are passed to other generations. So, and when we talk about modernization, that means migrating from the rural areas to maybe the cities, living in the urban areas. So, those are the things that we should make a distinction about them. And I believe that also, there should be like, is there like lying, for example, like moral standards, right? When we talk about moral standards, lying in Latin America and lying in United Kingdom and lying in Africa is, is the same. Lying is lying, and killing people in Africa, killing people in America, killing people in Guatemala is the same. It's the same. I think we all share the common, as a humanity, we all share common value systems. I think so. I don't know. I don't see tradition as like. So one question that was asked is, I don't think there is a tradition that is being like we should go back to our tradition. Tradition is the same. It's a set of beliefs that's passed down from generation to generation. So I don't think there's any wrong with that. So should we be like, modern means what? What does it mean? Modern means lying. Is modern means killing people? Is modern means being so selfish and you take benefit of other people? I mean, what's the definition of being modern? So I think all lies in the definition that we put it. So moral standards and tradition and modernization, or being moving from the rural areas to urban areas. I mean, that's the distinction that we need to make. So that's the point I want to get across. Mika, I don't think we don't hear you though.
I'm saying that's incredible, Professor Kuru. Professor Kuru is being a professor right now. That's incredible. Appreciate for elaborating that. I think it's powerful.
Yeah, man. So, so what else, man? What have you been up to, Mika?
Well, I've had an amazing interview today. The interview will be coming up in coming days very soon, and it's something that it's one of my mentors. Had interview with him. I look up to, and I learn a lot from him. Somebody asked here a question that why does Africa have its own media system to tell its own stories, not CNN Africa or BBC Africa? With the internet, you no longer need their system to reach the world. Um, I'm still answering a question, Kuru. At the same time, I'm still mixing up with another question because it
Okay.
makes sense, right? Yeah, because I feel like I'm gonna go to that direction as well. Um, so I've had that interview today, and this week I'm gonna be having couple of interviews, and I cannot wait to share with you guys because it's something to learn, and it's something that I think it's gonna help a lot of people out there, to understand and to grow as well, to reach somewhere. And pointing out about the question that I just read, I think that's what we are trying to build as well in a place where we are right now, and what we are doing here in One Africa Forum and Swahili Nation, as a media. Hopefully, in the years to come, we'll be able to do this in a big, like in a bigger level than what we are doing right now. So we are on that direction, and I believe there's so many other medias who are doing great out there, one step at a time, and you reach there. Brother Bunju Essence, he's back again. Man, it's good to have you. Welcome back.
Yes, how you doing, brothers? I just, I was, the algorithm. Once I go on YouTube, I see you, I click right away, and but I always want to learn. And the sister that was here previously, she was talking about some very important issues with paternalism, and you know, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh
we can
yeah.
hear you.
Oh, okay. So, I preserving our culture, like the sister was saying, is a good thing. But I think that also requires us to be economically strong, just so we can withstand the consequences of trying to preserve something that might be alien to an agent that might be more powerful than you know us on the continent. So you know like the brother was just saying, the professor, there are a lot of things that especially in these day and times, what we call universal norms. We might just have this collective understanding and saying, our culture and your culture both can merge easily because we have a lot of things that might merge together with no conflict. But then the peculiar issues, that people are pushing from outside. For instance, I think I mentioned it last week about the same-sex
Hello.
hour. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you
Yes.
now. You
Yes.
got a little
So
bit.
yes, peculiar issues, that someone might sincerely be an outsider but have an obligation and took it upon themselves and say, listen, you weaker nations, and you have to get in line with you know what we also deem to be universal, which is human rights. If you want to have all these um eight, and these privileges, and be on the international platform and be included, you have to accept these things. So what if, these, alien cultures and norms are different from ours? We'll have to make sure that we are economically strong and say, you know what, with all due respect, we don't accept these things. And if the consequences come, then at least perhaps we can, continue on without being affected economically, you know. But I think that was very important. And also with what the brother was saying previously about a section of the population that might have issues. There's in every country you go, you might, whether even here in the U.S., you can go with the Republican or the Democrats. There, any country you'll find a good number of people that are always going to be against the populace. But I just believe that, it's about the battle of the minds. I believe leadership, whoever is in charge, even if you have enemies, it has to be your duty to always try to convince these people, because they are alienated. For me personally, the best thing that happened to me was to travel outside of my country, to get exposure, because I was so, I realized that I was, very biased, and I was, if I was just there, the way I'll be thinking today would be much more different. So these people in our villages back home also, I think they're going through the same thing. The lack of exposure. If someone is in a village and you tell them someone is in a city, or this group or this ethnic group is this way, they will believe it if it's coming from their uncles and aunts and father and mothers. Because that's all they know. They're not exposed. But if we, a leadership position, someone who's a leader of a country sees these people as his enemy, then it's going to make things worse. But if they always, they should not give up. They should always try to engage them, and try to make sure that the truth is manifested. Yeah.
Nice point, man.
Yeah.
Nice point. Powerful point. Ezra, Professor Ezra.
Yeah.
What's up? You've been quiet for a while.
No, I'm listening. I think this is incredible. I think it's what at the heart of what everybody is saying is that there's no straight answer to all of these things. It's not just cut through. Oh, let's just go back to history and restate or reinstitute the thing that we lost. Or it's not that simple. Or let's look ahead and forward and just abandon everything and we would be better off. That's not the way forward. Let's find somewhere in the middle. Still, that's not the way forward. But it requires a recognition that the issues we're dealing with they're not that simple. They're not that you can't just walk through and then you figure out how to do it. But like our friend from the Gambia, I think he's in the US, said it's about leadership too. It's the leadership the kind of grounding the leaders have and how they perceive their platform and how they want to exercise that platform to accomplish what are the broader consensus in our community that is important, that need to be attained. And so the leaders making decisions are like, okay, food first, which is the economy. Answer the economic issues, the economic concerns, give people the ability and the mobility they need to exercise their economic freedom, and then build something that gives them security and stability. And then on top of that, you build all these other additional component of social orders that respect and values our broader consensus. So I don't know. I think that's what I would add to it.
Yeah. I just want to point out something, okay, Mika? So I'm just reading is the media is the key here, right? It says on the comment down here. It says it has done a masterful job in portraying all Black country as their world, and its people are always seen in a negative light, right?
Yeah.
So share the positive light then. Share the positive light. Okay, if that's the section that is being portrayed, so and then your job, or in our job, should be to portray it in a positive way, right? So, what are the things that has caused this mind to change our perception? What are the things that caused us to think negatively about this, right? So go to each countries if you can. Start from your own. Expose Tanzania, for example. Expose it in a way, in a good light.
Shine a light on it. That's what they
shine
say.
a light on it. Okay? Interview
shine a light on
people from the
Tanzania.
street.
Let it be visible, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Interview people from the street. Their lives, okay? Their spirit, the way they think. Okay? Share that light. Use this platform. Share that light. And be very creative and do a little bit of like media journalism, right?
Yeah.
Those kind of stuff, right? Do that and take it. And if you take this and be a voice to people in your country that shares the same values as yours.
Mm.
Get
And
the
you know,
point?
even before you continue, that the thing that you say, Kuru, it's really really important, and I really appreciate that you point out. We were just talking about this with Professor Ezra today in
Yeah.
the morning. Professor Ezra, remember that?
Yeah.
It was amazing, and something that I can say in point of that, man, I have so many interesting things are coming up. Like even that experience that I had yesterday, I was on my way to meet this another person, and
Yeah.
like I met a genius right here, like someone who is genius, and he's just an African, he's just a Tanzanian, he's just a guy, but this guy, he's genius, and I cannot wait to share the episode with everybody out there because that is going to be coming soon. Like I have very exciting stories coming from here, and I just wish that you guys would be there to support and to listen, because
We
the
will
only
do. Yeah.
challenge that yeah, the only challenge that we face sometimes, if the content is not from the certain countries, some people they tend not to watch it. Like when they just see, for example, I share the story about this woman that she's doing, a business of Airbnb and how she provide for her family, and provide a home to strangers. And people they don't really show interest because there's a name there, a Tanzanian. So other people from other countries they don't want to watch that. That's the only challenge that we are facing. But that's not something that can actually stop from creating. And I'm here right now, and I don't know for how long I'm going to stay where I am right now before moving to another African country or the African country. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to create as many stories and as many contents as I can, and based in English as well, because I want you guys to be able to understand. That's why I'm doing that. It's coming. It's
My
very exciting.
yeah.
I have
Mika.
like 1, 2, 3, 4, like five contents are coming.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
working
No,
on
that's
right now.
great.
But
That's
Mika,
great, man.
your
Mm,
approach should be like to reach just that one audience,
exactly. Yeah.
not a million, a billion audience, because that
Mm,
is out of your hand. It's not out of your hand.
mm,
There's
yeah.
somebody out there who
Mm,
watched the story of the Airbnb
mm,
family
mm,
and say, "Oh wow, who just got
mm,
wow, that's an idea. Wow, I
mm,
could do that. Imagine
yeah.
that." So if
Mm,
you have accomplished that, there's somebody
exactly.
out there from your
Mm,
content, one or two or three. If it is a
mm,
million, of course you're happy. So, like you
exactly.
should not be concerned how
Mm,
how widely
mm,
dispersed your contents are in terms of consumption, because let the
mm,
consumer determine that. And I
mm,
think, but I wanted to add a little bit to this. What is perceived and what is real is
mm,
like you were showing this book Date 8 the other day. You say you were
mm.
reading the book Date 8, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I read it a long time ago, so I'm not going to be capable of quoting from the book, because I read it
Mm,
probably 2005 or 6. I don't know
mm, mm,
what year was published. It was soon after it was published,
It was
the first
um
publication.
let me see here. No, it's a long time book. It's like 2009.
So I read it around, that was when I was in business, when I was about to business school, 2010. It
Mm,
must have been 2010. So
mm,
I read so it's such the book is another way of that book
mm,
gives you an idea
mm,
how much aid is played out and
mm,
how much actually aid makes a difference.
mm,
So the perception game is
mm,
one part of it, and the
mm.
reality of aid is another part of it.
It's another part. Yeah.
Let me give you over since then I've read other things. Like in
Mm,
Africa, I think that aid accounts for 1.2 to 2% of the GDP. If
mm,
I don't know, Professor Kuru can verify that for us, but it's
mm,
not that much. In relation
mm,
to our output in a given year, aid is not core or critical.
mm,
But what aid is perceived to be to our economy is
mm.
more than what is actually reality is. And then you look
Exactly.
at the power of
Mhm.
trade
Mhm.
and exchange of goods and services the little that Africa does, even though it's not as extensive and as broadly spread out kind of components, but even the little that Africa does is huge amount of impact. Huge, massive amount. So some of the things some of the trends over the past 10 years, 10, 15 years in Africa is companies that are multinational companies that are African born, that are spreading across the continent, that are creating jobs, that are impacting the middle class. So one of the things that is not really heard so much about is the rising and the more like the rising middle class of Africa. And the last I checked was about 300 something million of them. That's probably, I think it was about 2013 that I checked. There was around estimated to be about 300 million Africans that are considered middle class and above. I mean, it's not a huge number in relation to the broader population, but in terms of the absolute number, that's a huge number. I mean, you look at a company like EcoBank. I remember when EcoBank was established in Togo, and it was an ECOWAS initiative that is West African. When I say West African component, but today EcoBank is in Kenya. I remember when I traveled to Rwanda, I saw EcoBank there. When I traveled to Kenya, I remember seeing EcoBank there. I'm like, oh, so EcoBank has grown so much that it's no longer just in West Africa; it's crossed. So these are things that you don't hear about, but they are like powerful. And I'm like, and I say like, why isn't the Ethiopian banks in other part of Africa? Why is it only Ethiopian Airlines that are like? Why isn't Ethio Telecom in other countries? Why isn't Tanzanian banks in Ethiopia? Why aren't South African financial institutions in Central Africa? Like to the extent they should possibly be, but there is some movement up. So that aid really gives you a really good it does a really good job of painting what is truly on the ground, not what is perceived, but what is the reality of the African economy. What are the serious points? What are the areas where the economy is vibrant and dynamic? What are the areas that is struggling? So one of the areas is farming, agriculture, and that is struggling in Africa. And why is it struggling? Is because in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, the Europeans and Americans, gave excessive amount of subsidies to their farmers, kind of really pretty much tanking the African agriculture, making it almost totally uncompetitive. So we have all of these things the dead aid addresses, and it's a great book to read. Sorry, it was a long time ago I read it, so I'm not going to be able to quote you specific parts, but it's one of the best book to read. He's a Zambian Harvard graduate, by the way, who worked at World Bank. I think Zambian, right? If I'm correct, she's from Zambia, and I think she has Ivy League educations, and it is a very controversial book. A lot of Westerners didn't like her. They didn't like the book. She got really in some kind of trouble for writing that book.
Mika, while Lazarus was talking, he just gave me some ideas, right, for you. Okay, so hear me out. Hear me out very clearly, right?
Okay.
All right. So let's just go back and then see the one episode that you did for when you go to visit the memorial for Ethiopian soldiers fought in Korea. Do you remember that? Right?
Yeah.
It was actually they put it on the news here on a mainstream channel.
Yes. Yeah.
And you have to ask why. Ask yourself, why do Ethiopians, here in the mainstream, they did a piece on that? It's because you touched, you glorified Africans, as a very dignified people. One, it shows a good light on Africa, right? The contribution that Africa made to the world, right? So, this is my suggestion, Mika. So I think you should. Of course, you can talk about any. You can interview people from the street and stuff like that, and shit. But let us be specific, right? So why don't you really brainstorm, like really think about like uh, I doing pieces on African success stories. For example, it could be a company that has gone through like that cross borders, right? A company that do business, an African company that does business in other African countries, right? Those kind of stuff. Maybe you can find those companies in your area, and then when you go abroad, maybe you can interview Ethiopian Airlines, for example, right? Why don't you do a piece on Ethiopian Airlines and tell them that you get what I'm trying to tell you?
Dangote,
You know,
Nigeria.
you know why I'm laughing? You know why I'm smiling?
Yeah.
I'm smiling because there are those episodes are coming. That's why I'm laughing. That's why I'm laughing.
They're already in the pipeline.
As I'm talking right now, there is someone who is actually trying to, trying to connect. You know what is going on right now, like with Ethiopian Airlines, right? So
Yeah.
because of
The
that,
same
what
thing.
is going on? There's someone who is actually trying to connect me with that because I would, it's something that I would love to do an
Yeah.
episode with, not like to literally do an episode of Ethiopian Airlines.
Yes.
Bruh. So you see,
Yeah.
that's what I'm just trying to tell you.
By the
Shed
way,
light on that. You
By the
see?
way, the Ethiopian Airlines story is the one that's not spoken a lot. They are so the relationship between I don't know if crew has heard it. There's an airline in Togo that's focused on West Africa, and Ethiopian Airlines I think is like about 29 or 30% invested in that company. It's called A-Sky, and it's a Togolese-based company, but it is a consortium of Ethiopian Airlines, EcoBank, that I was telling you about, and then I think there's some kind of ECOWAS grouping that has a complete share. So it's a collaboration of multiple African entities. Some of them, I think one is the regionally grouping, a regional bloc. The other one is major financial institutions, West African financial institutions, and then so the Ethiopian Airlines was brought on board for its management and then leadership on developing airlines. So it was so successful. I think they've started another one in Malawi, a similar venture in Southern Africa. It's taking place in Malawi. And so this is just to bolster to you, there's a lot of things already happening on the ground that really kind of like that you can always go to and say like this. Oh, this is a story I want people to know that it is possible to do these things. It is possible to bring
why not? Yeah.
economic prosperity that we can all share. That kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Because we were talking about unity, right? For example, we were talking about, but in practice, people can see like what exactly is happening on the ground, like what our people are doing on the ground, right? So if you have like this maximum 5 minutes or maximum 10 minutes episodes, like short success stories of different entrepreneurs. It could be social entrepreneurs, it could be different the people that do green on green economy, something like that. That will be very very inspiring. At the same time, it would be very educational. Don't you think, Israel?
Yeah. I think like Mika, another thing that I would add to this is like I really want to know about Julius Nyerere. Okay, I have a lot of like top line views of Julius Nyerere. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay.
Can you hear? Hello, Mika, can you hear?
Hello, I'm trying to get connected, guys. I was out.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So I was saying that, like, in addition to what Kuru was saying, like, the entrepreneurs, the social, and economic entrepreneurs that are out there, but also like stories and narratives that are like, have you heard the term culture and society is like an iceberg. Have you heard of that term before? I don't know if Guru you've heard that before.
No, I haven't heard.
So they say like, so these are like anthropologists and social anthropologists and social study people. They've came up with this terminology, say like culture and societies are like iceberg. So what you see on top of an iceberg. So when you see an iceberg, you see like on the ocean, you see an iceberg. What is below the water is usually 2 to 3 times, 2 to 3 times bigger than what you see on top. I think if my number is correct. Essentially, what is underneath a culture, that is what is not visible, is much more than what is visible. That's the notion that that's there. And then to some degree, I share with that. So
Israel.
Yeah.
We've seen Titanic, so I mean that would be a good way to explain that.
Exactly, Titanic, like Titanic. Essentially, so what I mean is that, like, why do I raise this? Is like I have a good grasp of Tanzania, a good grasp of what is considered, what is on the surface. I have an idea of. What I don't have an idea of, the deeper ones, the one that's below the surface, the one that's not necessarily easily visible. It's not that the one that you don't easily find on any average media that is out there. So it could be like, what are the if there's like a museum or a museum dedicated to, let's say, the independence of Tanzania and the fight and the role of Tanzania and the fight for liberation for Africa and the culture and how Tanzania played the game, all of those things, like a lot of the things that are like complex, and like some of the philosophies and ideas of Nyerere, they're very unique. He's like, unlike, there's a lot of things similar about Nyerere and, let's say, and other independence fighters, but there's also unique things about Nyerere that that I have heard about and read about, but I think it's like, you can give it like visually, like the way that you did the Korea things for Ethiopians, and I want to be proud of Tanzania, and then not just pride that's on the surface, deeply proud. Like I want to be able to stand on the ground and say, like, I have a sense of connection with Tanzania that's much deeper, and so your work will be the one to give me the verbs to verbalize and vocalize that feeling. At the moment, I just have feelings, and then I have some small notions of it, but I don't have depth. So, so some of the things that you could do, like you've done that for a lot for Ethiopia, and I wish you could do that for a lot. The other day, I sent you this video of a video I saw from Cote d'Ivoire. I mean, I have no connection to it. The dance that you saw, it looks like a Westerners and like or the missionaries that came in the 18th, 17th century would say that is some witchcraft dance. They would dismiss it that, but I'm not gonna dismiss it that. Yes, I don't believe in witchcraft. I have faith, and that's not something I believe. But I would cherish that culture. I would cherish that, despite my difference of opinion. What I mean is that, like, when I saw that video, I probably didn't react the way an Ivorian would react, because that thing would mean different and more to them than it would for me. But as an African, I also felt like, wow, that's such a beautiful thing to see and experience. Do you get? So to me, that kind of like, sometimes they are not necessarily like that you could take it to a bank and cash kind of ideas. Sometimes they're just stories of people, stories of experience, stories of culture that are not necessarily given platform. When they get platform, they create awareness. This is like, you kind of eradicate ignorance by overwhelming the mind with knowledge. Fight ignorance by overwhelming. Okay, you got two of them now. I like that. You got two.
What just happened?
So you got me. So let's overwhelm the ignorance with abundance of knowledge. There's nothing. There won't be too much knowledge. So just keep giving us materials and content. Give it context and meanings, using your intellect and your ability, and we'll be better off because of it.
That's an amazing idea.
And also to add, Mika, right? So there are different expats, African expats living in Tanzania, right? So you can share. I mean, it's the best way to really know about the country because they have like a blank slate, right? They will tell your story better than you. For example, like you told our story, right? But you're not Ethiopian, right?
Yeah.
But what about the expats that are living in Tanzania, right? They can
Yeah.
you can
They
do
can tell us
some
exactly.
yeah. You can go to places where they this kind of stuff. I mean, will really be one very entertaining, at the same time very informative, right?
I
And
really sorry.
yeah, I just want to say.
Yeah, I really appreciate so much, guys, for those ideas. And I think I'm gonna work on, something about that. Yeah, I'm gonna work on something. There's someone very special that he has been in my mind, that he knows he's right now, like as I'm saying here in Tanzania right now, he's really influential right now in the government. And he started one thing called Shule ya Uongozi. Shule ya Uongozi, it means like the school of leadership. And I've been joining that like every single Saturday. And what he says, he's just sharing about the history and the role of Tanzania and all these things that you're mentioning about, even the role of Tanzania in independence, to Africa continent, and how it supported, different countries. So that person has been in my mind for a while. It's someone really big in the government, but it's someone that I've been looking forward or wanting to actually reach out and to sit down with him and to talk about, this stuff. So I think that's one of the things that I would try to pursue that, but as well as finding, places like, a museum, a place where I will go, and just because you always have expert there in those areas who can really explain, things in detail about, everything that happened in the past, and, just to show, what this country has done, the role of, independence in Africa. And the same way when I visit another country to do, some stuff like that. So I think it's an amazing idea and something that I can work on.
Yeah.
Very good. And also, please do not forget the woman, the voice of
The
the
woman.
women, right? Yeah, the voice of the woman.
Definitely. You guys are the best, man. You guys are the best. This is an amazing idea, and you guys are the best. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on that, and I will give you guys a feedback. Kuru, I don't have your number yet, your WhatsApp number. But I would
I
love
will,
to have your WhatsApp number.
yeah, I will text you. I will text you.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
I
think
want to
like
create a.
one last thing I would say to you is you so you've pulled up a thread here, an African thread, and you keep pulling that thread. I can tell you, you will not find the end of it. You just keep pulling it, just keep pulling that thread, and sometimes the thread will take you to Congo, sometimes will take you to South Sudan, sometimes it will take you to a safari somewhere in Tanzania or Kenya, wherever it would lead you. Just keep going at it, and every time you bring that to the platform, your audience will know you're talking to them. So so you are in a position of initiative, and just keep taking the initiative. Don't worry whether it's gonna have attraction or not. Some of them will have attraction, some of them don't have attractions, but who cares? One person, if one of us hears you and get something out of it, get inspired by it, you've done your job.
That's all matter.
That's all that matters. And so speak to that audience. Speak to that audience. The audience is broad. You got 1.3 billion people in your audience. So what you've done for Ethiopia is, which a lot of Ethiopians are already appreciating. I'm sure you do this for Nigeria, and a lot of Nigerians will appreciate
Exactly.
it. And you do this for Tanzania, a lot of Tanzanians will appreciate it in time and due course. And so your journey and your path and your journey on that path is already successful. You've already succeeded because you are already on the right journey or on the right path. So it's just like the fruit of that path, the fruit of that journey takes time to grow and come out. So So just be patient and go through it.
Yeah, and be uniquely you.
Yeah.
Be uniquely you. Okay? Don't try to imitate other people, So just be you, and then everything will come into place.
Definitely. Well, appreciate, brothers. I didn't know this is how we're gonna end, but this is beautiful. This is amazing.
The same here.
It is amazing. It's more than man. You have no idea how. I just love you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
We love you too, man.
we have to reach it. I appreciate that. We have to reach the point where we can lift each other. And these days, what is more valuable is not even money, but is idea, because idea is what change. Idea is what brings transformations. And you guys just share your amazing ideas here with me, and it's amazing. So it's just a matter of going out there and make some change and do it. And I am determined. I'm going to do that. Yeah. I think my life is going to be very busy now.
By the way, your music skill, that is the thing. We want to hear more about your music. Oh my God. Sometimes
Can you imagine, Ezra?
Yeah.
Can you imagine Mika Chavala and Teddy Afro together?
Oh my God.
With Mescal Square?
Come on, man.
Ask for
now you're talking, man. The voice of Africa.
The voice of Africa?
Yeah, me is Rob VIP.
Oh man, I don't know if I'll be able to sing with him. I think I'll be there. I'll be like,
hey, don't forget us. Don't forget us. Like, this is the way you say
I
it.
won't.
Hey, this is the West African way of saying it. I'll
don't
say
forget
this
us,
West African stuff. Don't forget us. Make you not forget us.
Don't
when
worry.
you go there with big men like Teddy Afro, don't forget us.
Man,
Me and Kuru, we should get VVIP.
Invitations. Straight, man.
I cannot wait, man. I actually, not only that, but I actually even one of the requests I made is with also Rofnan. I made a request like maybe a month or 2 months ago. I think it's 3 months ago now, because when I was in Korea, I made a request. I wanted to have a conversation with him, and I hopefully, in the future we'll have something like that.
Oh my God!
Maybe
I'm very excited for that.
I'm not gonna promise, but I could check. Some of my friends, I think they know Kasmasa. You know Kasmasa?
I know Kasmasa. I asked him too. I asked him too because I love his music. He has very unique. Please,
we went to the same school, so probably
I asked that guy. He didn't reply though, but please do. Yeah.
Maybe I'll try. I'm not a promise, but I'll try.
Of course. No worries, man. I love this chat, guys. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, are you eating, resting, and taking care of yourself?
I'm eating. I'm eating, and I'm resting. I'm trying to rest. I think yesterday I had a good rest after a while, because as I said, for me, usually I sleep for 5 hours. I know it's little, but even when I try to sleep longer, like after 5 hours finished, I just wake up. Like I can't sleep no longer. Like it's how I've been for a long time. But once in a while I have one day that I can like sleep for a very long time. But usually every single day, that's the only amount of time that I can sleep. Even if I try to lay down and to sleep for longer, I can't. Yeah, I think it's been in the system for a while, but I'm trying, and hopefully, soon in the future I will have a team as well, to support and to help. But for now, I think all this, different interviews. That's why you guys have seen, like, I haven't really been doing reactions. It's because there's a lot of things in the plate, and when I go and do all these interviews, I cannot keep up with the reaction at the same time. So, but I'm trying.
Yeah, by the way, I recommend this book to both of you. There's a book called Brain Rules.
Brain Rules.
Brain Rules.
Who's the author?
Brain, like brain, our brain, and rules.
Yeah. Okay.
It's an incredible book about how the brain, how our neurology works. And
Oh, I see.
it's one of the best books. And the reason I say that to you is based on what you just said about, oh, I sleep only 5 hours. It's like sleeping is different for everybody. The time of sleep is, and then it comes down to your DNA makeup as well, not just the environment. So there are some people in the world that cannot sleep more than 4 or 5 hours. They can accomplish what somebody else would take 8 hours. They can accomplish that in 4 or 5 hours. So forcing yourself to sleep more because you have to sleep 8 hours. 8 hours it's arbitrary. The number 8 hours is arbitrary. So when your body consistently tells you year after year, decade after decade, that your sleeping pattern is 4 to 5 hours, that means essentially that's your construct. That's how you're constructed. So instead of like trying to force it, just keep at it. That's it. So accept and move on, and just that means essentially you are one of those people in the world, the few people in the world that are built for doing stuff, not for sleeping. So you just need to embrace it. So the book it covers a whole range of issues. Book covers a whole range of issues. It's a great book for anybody who wants to understand the nuances of being a human being from the perspective of our neurology. And the whole dimensions of things so that reveals. So start with this. We know very little about our brain, but the little we know, this is how much we can understand about it. So that's what it covers. He covers that little information that scientists or those people who study in the field have discovered, and he puts it in a very he articulates it like how we should design our workplace, how we should design our schools, how we design our life. He has recommendations on all of that, including sleep is one of the chapters, memory is another chapter, emotions. So I think there are about 12 rules that he covers. So I recommend it to a lot of you. And then the idea came to me because when you were talking about sleep, there's a huge section about it. But hey, these books are not necessarily Bible. So that means don't take them literally. It just give you ideas and hints. So I'm not recommending books because I think they are like they are the only space for wisdom and knowledge.
Just to expand your knowledge.
And also, I just want to recommend one film that I saw today. That is Kipchoge, The Last Milestone. That was really good, man.
Kipchoge,
yeah, the last milestone. You know, no human being ever run under 2 hours, but he did it.
Run under 2 hours.
Yeah.
Wait, is that?
Yeah, and he did it. And the funny thing is, and he said, "There's no limit to. The only limit is the limit that you put on yourself."
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. I watched the
limits are arbitrary, by the way.
You watch this film, man.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, they did this experiment. Yeah. They did this experiment on him. You know, they were just they made the science. They used science at the same time. They used his potential, his talents, and voila, man. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil the surprise, but you guys, it's very inspirational. So it's very inspirational.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys for the suggestions. Yeah. Guys, you see, man, you can get anything here in One Africa Forum. All right, it's more than just discussing topic. This is some pretty good stuff for all of us to enhance our brain. You know, this looks like a good book right here. 12 Principles for Surviving and Thriving at Work, Home, and School.
Yeah.
Most of
us
I
just want to suggest. I just want to suggest there's a website. I'm just gonna post a link on that website so you can download any book. For example, I got this book. I got The Brain Rules, 20 Principles of Surviving and Thriving at Work, Home, and School. Right, John Medina. I found it. I found it on this site,
Mm.
and you can download for
Oh.
those who are interested. Yeah,
By the way,
I'll share
it's a
that.
very easy read. The book is written by a very smart guy, but he's written it like
Mm.
for like 8th grade level. Eighth
Mm.
grade.
Oh.
I think it's like, for me,
Sweet.
if I was to say, if it's an eighth
Mm.
grade level
Mm.
reading. So it's not too like, it's not like scientific research, like, like,
Mm.
oh, you have to go through, like, interpret all these meanings and interpretation. But like, he does a very good job of really laying down some of the, like one of the example, for example, he gives in the book is like, he
Mm.
describes our eyes and how vision work. So there's a huge
Mm.
chapter about vision, and he just starts with the vision. It's like each of our eyes is like having 12 cameras.
Mm.
Each two of the eyes, the data they collect and send to your brain, it's like you have 12 cameras on each side of your eyes
Mm.
mounted, and that's the data that's being collected. But the brain
Yeah.
doesn't tell you all that data. The
Yeah. Mm.
brain takes all that visual data and interprets it and
Mm.
processes it and tells you, okay, this is what you're saying. So whatever you
Mm.
think you're seeing is an interpretation of your brain.
Mm. Mm.
And we're not even taking into account the fact of light. And when we were young in school, light, the way light is interpreted through the eyes,
Mm.
the brain takes all that data but doesn't dump that into your mind. It
Mm.
processes it and then specifically says, oh, you're watching somebody dance,
Mm.
and then ignores what is surrounding the dancer. So that allows, so that kind of understanding of our brain gives you I read that book, and then like, at the end of it, oh my god, whoever is the architect of such a power
Mm.
is mind-blowing. The
Mm.
architect of a power, we know when we say the architect, we're talking about God here, by the way, if somebody doesn't get it, but I can
Mm.
tell you. So so that's the kind of book. It's very simple, easy to read, but breaks it down to the way that, to a level that
Yeah.
any ordinary person can read it. And then so you got Kuru's suggestions for the link. You guys
Yeah.
follow the link and then just follow the rabbit.
Yeah. I got the link here and I'm downloading it right now. Guys, wow, this is good.
Nice, nice, nice.
I'm going to read this right away, you know what I'm saying? This is good. Man, I love
All
you,
right, bro.
brothers,
Yeah,
and thank you
same as
so
is.
much. Yeah.
All right. So
You
I
guys
think
are
it's
my
late
real
for me.
brothers.
For you guys, I think it's early. But for me and for Mika, I think it's later.
Yes.
I'm
You're
gonna
like,
sleep later, man.
it's midnight, past midnight. But for somebody
Yeah,
who sleep for 5 hours, is not late.
yeah, I
Uh,
sleep like 4 a.m., sometimes 5, so I still
Yeah.
have a long day to go.
yeah. But for those of us
Yeah,
who wake up
I think after I
early in
get
the
married,
morning,
things will be different. For now, let me enjoy my singleness
yeah,
by sleeping late.
yeah. But for those of us who wake up early in the morning, I mean,
Mm,
this is gonna be late. I think.
yeah, yeah,
Thank you,
Yeah,
Kuru, man. I'm saving your number
yeah.
as well.
yeah. Cool, cool,
Mm,
man. So we
thank you.
appreciate, man. So I wish you all the best. God bless. So we'll see
Yes,
each other on the next forum, maybe.
Yeah.
yes. Next firm. Come
Yeah,
on,
God
man.
willing.
Yeah, text me, Kuru. Yeah, text me your
Yeah, yeah,
number.
sure, 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 sure.
All right,
I already did,
appreciate it.
by the way. I already
You
did.
did
He sent a
on the
When I
message.
private
go to
chat.
the
Yeah.
yeah,
Where did you send?
in the private chat.
A private chat.
Ah, okay. Oh, all right, all right. Let me see. Okay, it's right there. All right. I got it.
Cool, cool.
I appreciate it. Okay.
So Isra, man, good to hear you.
You get the same here, man. Same here.
All right, guys.
All right, brothers. Now let's get out of here, man.
Okay,
Got you.
man. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
See you
Appreciate it.
next time.
Bye bye. Yo, man. Oh, let me just save this number here. I don't want to lose this number right now. Let me save right here on my note. Hey, yeah. Okay. Well, guys, I was having a little bit trouble with my stuff here. I was using my phone at the beginning and it ran out of charge, so I had to change my uh my notebook right here, but also the internet kind of disappears. So, but anyways, all in all, I appreciate you guys for joining here today. Appreciate so much love to the amazing woman who joined us today and shared amazing ideas and points. It was amazing. Essence, Professor Kuru, Professor Ezra, you guys are, Swahili Nation professors right here, and I appreciate for all the ideas and the love and the time that you spent with the African family. I really appreciate, and I think we should all be grateful because these are people who are busy doing stuff for their lives, for their community, but still coming here and spending hours, just sharing and giving their ideas, their knowledge. This is something that we can appreciate. So, guys, let's be grateful for that and let's appreciate when people are doing pretty good thing. There's one comment here. I will read this. I think it's good to finish in this note. Shewaye, he said, I don't know what to say. You're very kind working for Africa Unite. Ethiopians respect you, and if you're not married, get Ethiopian girl. We want you to be an Ethiopia. That is how much we love you. That's an amazing love right there. But also another comment. It was a fun comment here. Where is that? Is that comment, man? It was a really good comment. Somebody say, you know what? You have to come to Ethiopia and I will give you just one flight ticket because when you come here, you're not gonna leave. I'm like this. Okay, here it say, let Mika decide when he wants to visit Ethiopia. I'll buy him a one-way ticket to Ethiopia because I know he will stay here forever. You're so right. Appreciate, guys. This is so much love right here. But Africa, I appreciate for the love. I appreciate for everything. And you guys, you've seen all the ideas that I've received today. I think I have a lot of work to do, and that's what I'll be doing. Once I get out of here to plan, and I'll try to send some emails to all these people to ask for, for that opportunity of having all this interview. I appreciate, guys. I love you. Until next time, man. Don't forget to love one another and spread peace wherever you are. Good night, Africa.